Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump both spent Tuesday campaigning in the pivotal state of Florida. While there, Clinton slammed Trump over his claims the election could be rigged, while Trump defended them.
He refused to say that he would respect the outcome of this election. Now, I guess we shouldn't be too surprised. This is the same guy who said he thought the Emmys were rigged against him. But this is serious. You know, on January 20th, the first thing a president does is to take an oath to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution. And I have serious doubts about whether Donald Trump even understands what that means.
Remember when I said that some of the voting is rigged? Okay, everybody knows. Check out Philadelphia, Chicago, St. Louis. And he said, this is a threat to our system. This is terrible. This is a threat. Okay, I figured, gee whiz, wow, that's pretty bad. Except last night on television, I'm watching Obama from 8 years ago. And he's basically saying that the whole thing is fixed. Before he won his first race, he was talking about voting. And he said, remember, I come from Chicago, they do. Give me a break. This guy's such a phony guy. What a phony.
With me now from Washington is CBS News senior political editor Steve Chigueras. So, Steve, both Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump spent Tuesday in Florida. An average of polls shows that Clinton is leading there by about 3 points. Tell us about the strategy here for Donald Trump spending 3 days straight in the Sunshine State.
Well, he really needs to win Florida. It really comes down to that. 29 electoral votes in Florida. If you look at our battleground map, he is 71 electoral votes shy of an electoral college majority. You take those 29 electoral votes out of that equation, and it just becomes almost impossible for him to get a majority of electoral votes. So he needs to win in Florida. And Hillary Clinton, for her part, is really just trying to bury him. If she can win in Florida, in their mind, it's over. So that's what the fight of Florida is all about.
Let's talk about Texas. A recent CBS News poll has Trump up by 3 points there in Texas, a state that Mitt Romney won by 16 points in 2012. What is going to be the challenge there in keeping places like Texas, which have been traditionally Republican strongholds, red?
Yeah, I'm not sure that this is a precursor to Trump losing in Texas. What it is showing, though, is that he does not have the support among Republican voters that Hillary Clinton has among Democratic voters. And I think it's pronounced in places like Texas, where, he'll likely wind up winning there. But the fact that it's close, or it's this close to the election, I mean, it just says about the problems he's having keeping the people that he needs to have supporting him behind him right now. He shouldn't be fighting for Republican support 2 weeks out from the election, and that's what he's finding himself doing all over the country, not in places just like Texas, but all over the country. And so, it doesn't look like that Hillary Clinton's going to get much more than what this poll shows. But the fact that he's at only 46% in Texas in this poll, it just shows he has bigger problems.
We saw Tuesday, Steve, a line of attack from Donald Trump that we've seen before, hitting Obamacare, but with an added boost based on some data from the Obama administration that shows there are going to be some premium increases coming for some people under Obamacare. Donald Trump trying to tie that to Hillary Clinton. I wonder what your thoughts are with, less than 2 weeks here until Election Day. Is that going to be enough to secure a win for Donald Trump?
Oh, I don't know about that. I mean, he's been handed on a silver platter an attack line on an issue that resonates with voters. I mean, this is an issue, Obamacare, which Americans are still split on. If you ask them what their most important issues are, health care usually shows up in the top 3 or 4 issues. And so it is something that resonates, and he's got something he can run with. The problem for Trump is there are so many other issues swirling around in this presidential race right now. Is Obamacare 2 weeks before the election going to be the issue that decides this election? I find that hard to believe at this point, especially given all the negatives swirling around him and really around Hillary Clinton. But it does give him something to talk about. It gives him something to hammer Obama and Hillary Clinton with. Where I think it's going to have a little bit more of an effect is on these down ballot races. Republicans in tough Senate races and in tough House races were looking for some kind of advantage, something they could go hammer the administration with, and now they can go to their constituents who are listening to issues such as health care and say, look, we were right all along about Obamacare. We're telling you this is a disaster. The House members are going to say, we tried to repeal this over and over again, and now look at what's going on with Obamacare. So they can make an argument that, again, might resonate with voters in their districts and in their states, and maybe it could be an issue that helps them in these tight races down ballot.
Lastly, Steve, we've talked over the course of this election cycle about the effect or non-effect of endorsements. We know former Secretary of State Colin Powell, a Republican, announced Tuesday that he's going to vote for Hillary Clinton. I wonder, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, it's just another sort of establishment Republican who has come out and backed Hillary Clinton. So any Republicans who are on the fence about Donald Trump or who may have issues with Donald Trump, this sort of verifies what they're thinking. I'm not sure it's going to move any votes this late in the game. But again, it's just another Republican who has basically rejected Donald Trump. And I think it's a reflection of where the party is regarding Trump. And if you look at polling, as I mentioned earlier about Texas, he has not gotten the backing of Republican voters to the level of Hillary Clinton has. He's about 80% of backing of Republican voters, and she's around 90% of backing of Democrats. That's a problem for him 2 weeks out from the election. So it's just a reflection of that.
All right, Steve Chigueras in Washington for us. Steve, thanks so much.